What is fiction? Fiction is something that is invented or untrue, but can fiction become fact? Let us find that together. Hello and welcome. My name is Benjamin. In today's video, I'll be talking about fiction and fact. So I have titled this video Fiction Becomes Fact. People think that their imaginations and wanderings are just idle wanderings, and that's that. But that's not true. Your imaginations, if you play around with them long enough, they'll confront you in the future. Think of a man that was just wondering about things that could happen. Let's say he was just wondering about making instantaneous phone call from wherever he was to another country. Let's say this was the time of the telegram. From that time, he started to write it down, think of it. Eventually, he went to sketches, sketching the idea how that could happen. From sketching the idea, he created a prototype. From the prototype, we have a product, and that product we call it telephone. So our imaginations, our wandering, our idle wanderings do eventually becomes fact. If you think another example is Leonardo da Vinci. He sketched the flying machine, the flying machine. Then centuries later, the Wright brothers took to the sky. So the fact is of the matter that fiction does becomes fact. Another example being Jules Verne. He had the idea that it is of submarines and space travel. This was when those things looked completely impossible to attain. But centuries later, people are now governments have submarines, and their SpaceX exists, and there is other. China have their own space travel, Russia has their own, and Europe has their own space program. So people are traveling to space, and people have submarines. Almost all countries now have submarines. The last time I checked, even the developing countries. So the thing that was just a wide idea, centuries later, it became a practical thing. The same happened with this AI boom. There was a time people had the idea that there would be artificial intelligence, there would be artificial companions, artificial house assistants. Now those things are manifesting, are coming to reality. We now have chatbots, we now have artificial agents, assistants, we call them AI agent. We now have robotic companions that act and behave like humans, and science are predicting that in the future that people will prefer to have a robotic partner than to have a real partner. That was just a fiction not too long ago. Orwell's 1984. It was a book, was a fiction, but we are living in that 1984 screenplay land. We are experiencing 1984 in our reality right now. So the message of this video is quite simple, is that your fiction, your idle wanderings are not just that. They are things that will confront you in the future. They will confront you. Your idle wanderings are not that. They are prophecy. They are rehearsal. They are blueprints of what will happen in your future. If you are always daydreaming of fighting, of quarreling, of being in all kinds of conflict, of illness, believe it or not, that will confront you in the future, because wherever attention goes, energy goes. And wherever energy goes, it starts to draw materials required to bring that thing to pass. So you have to be careful about the thought you entertain. Paul the Apostle in the Bible says, whatsoever be lovely, whatsoever be godly, whatever you are dwelling on, make sure it is godly, it is lovely, and it is of good report. Because if your imaginings, your fictional play, your idle wanderings are things that are harmful to you or to the people around you, you are creating pain for you and people around you. And when it happens, I hope you take full responsibility for it and don't blame any God in the sky for it, because you are a co-creator in this reality. And it's the earlier you start to take responsibility for what is going on in your reality, the quicker your life will start to transform for the better. God is not in the sky. It is in you and it is in me. It is in every living and non-living things. It penetrates everything in this reality. There is nothing that goes on in this reality that God is not aware of it. God, the big G God, is omnipresent, omnipotent. So it's everywhere and it's acting in everything. So your fictional play will confront you in the future. That is the simple message of this video. Fiction does become fact if you give it enough energy. Obviously, if I have play with an idea for like 10 seconds and I move on to the next thing, obviously that was just my mind doing what the mind does. But if I dwell on an idea day in, day out, every day, that is what that is the same idea I dwell on. If that idea is a bad idea, then that will confront me in the future. I'll give you a personal example. I used to watch a lot of court drama in the past, and eventually, because I was watching a lot of court drama, I started to imagine myself going to court, because that was what I was watching a lot of the time. I think the movie I was watching that time, it's not a movie, it was a series. I think they call it The Good Housewife. Eventually, fast forward about 2 to 3 years later, I also was going to court. I didn't know I did not know how expensive going to court was, but I soon found out that it wasn't cheap, and it was stressful, and it was costly mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. It was extremely costly financially. That was just in my head before. It was just fictional play, but eventually it became reality. And a lot of people have had this same experience. The only thing different between me and them, I knew the source of it. I knew what caused it. I knew I created that series of events through my fictional play, through my idle wandering. So if you take anything away from this video, it is this message that fiction does become fact, and you have to be careful about what kind of fictional play you are playing with in your head. You have to pick carefully, because as King Solomon wrote, for a man shall give account of every idle word. Your fictional play is internal idle word. The one you speak out is external idle word. So you have to be, you give account of them, and you have to be careful about what kind of play, how kind of imaginings that is going on in your head. So that is the message of this video. I hope this video has been helpful to you in one way or the other. If you like this kind of video, I would really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, or leave a comment. Well, whatever you do, pick your thoughts carefully, dwell on good thought, and have a blessed day. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next video. Bye for now.